Hello. Hello and welcome to this video. As we had completed the collections.abc, so we will go and look at heapq algorithm. So this is a very important data structure and the example will follow this video. We will try to finish the entire documentation of this particular module in one go. So if you're looking for example, please wait for the next video. And in this video, we are going to just read through it. So without further ado, let's get started. This module provides an implementation of the heap queue algorithm, also known as the priority queue algorithm. Min heaps are binary trees for which every parent node has a value less than or equal to any of its children. We refer to this condition as the heap variant. For min heaps, this implementation uses lists for which heap k less than equal to heap 2 times k plus 1 and heap k less than is equal to heap 2 times k plus 2 for all k for which the compared elements exist. Elements are counted from 0. The interesting property of a min heap is that its smallest element is always at the root, that is heap 0. Max heaps satisfy the reverse invariant. Every parent node has a value greater than any of its children. These are implemented as lists for which maxip 2 times k plus 1 less than equal to maxip k and maxip 2 times k plus 2 less than equal to maxip k for all k for which the compared elements exist. The root maxip 0 contains the largest element. Heap.sort reverse.true maintains the maxip invariant. The heapq API differs from textbook heap algorithms in two aspects. We use zero-based indexing. This makes the relationship between the index for a node and the indexes for its children slightly less obvious, but it is more suitable since Python uses zero-based indexing. Textbooks often focus on max heaps due to their suitability for in-place sorting. Our implementation favors min heaps as they better correspond to Python lists. These two aspects make it possible. These two aspects make it possible to view the heap as a regular Python list without surprises. Heap 0 is the smallest item and heap.sort maintains the heap invariant. Like list.sort, this implementation uses the less than operator for comparisons for both min heaps and max heaps. In the API below and in the documentation, the unqualified term heap generally refers to a min heap. The API for max heaps is named using a underscore max suffix. To create a heap, use a list initialized as empty brackets or transform an existing list into a min heap or max heap using the heapify or heapify underscore max functions respectively. The following functions are provided for min heaps. heapq.heapify transform list x into a min heap in place in linear time. Heap push, which takes a heap and item, push the value item on the heap, maintaining the mean heap invariant. Heap pop and return the smallest item from the heap, maintaining the min heap invariant. If the heap is empty, index error is raised. To access the smallest element without popping it, use heap 0. Heap push pop. Push item on the heap, then pop and return the smallest item from the heap. The combined action runs more efficiently than heap push followed by a separate call to heap pop. Heap replace pop and return the smallest item from the heap and then also push the new item. The heap size does not change. If the heap is empty, index error is raised. This one-step operation is more efficient than a heap pop followed by a heap push and can be more appropriate when using a fixed size heap. The pop push combination always returns an element from the heap and replaces it with item. The value returned may be larger than the item added. If that is undesired, consider using heap push pop instead. Its push pop combination returns the smaller of the two values, leaving the larger value on the heap. For max heap, the following functions are supported. Analogous to the functions we have discussed, there is underscore max variations, as you can see. So we will skip those. The module also offers three general purpose functions based on it. One is merge, takes iterables, key, reverse. The default value of key is none and reverses default value is false. Merge multiple sorted inputs into a single sorted output. For example, merge timestamp into from multiple log files returns an iterator over the sorted values. Similar to sorted iter tools.chain iterables, but returns an iterable does not pull the data into memory all at once and assumes that each of the input streams is already sorted, smallest to largest. Has two optional arguments which must be specified as keyword arguments. Key specifies a key function of one argument that is used to extract a comparison key from each input element. The default value is done. Compare the elements directly. Reversing the Boolean value is set to true, then the input elements are merged as if each comparison were reversed. To achieve behavior similar to sorted, iter_tool.change iterables reverse is equal to true. All iterables must be sorted from the largest to smallest. Then we have n largest, which takes an argument n iterable and key is equal to none. Return a list with the n largest elements from the dataset defined by iterable. Key, if provided, specifies a function of one argument that is used to extract a comparison key from each element in the iterable. For example, key is equal to str.level is equivalent to sorted. Iterable key is equal to key, reverse is equal to 2 colon n. N smallest. Return a list with n smallest elements from the dataset defined by the iterable. Key, if provided, has the same description. Basically, the latter two functions perform best for smaller values of n. For larger values, it is more efficient to use the sorted function. Also, when n is equal to 1, it is more efficient to use the built-in min and max functions. If repeated use of these functions is required, consider turning the iterable into an actual heap. A basic example is given here. We have heap sort. Iterable is passed. Initially, h is empty list. For value in iterable, you push into the heap. Treat this heap as a list as a heap. You push into the iterable the value, and then you do heap pop h for in the range length of h. So if you do that, then you will see that the elements which are supplied were returned in sorted manner. This is similar to sorted table, but unlike sorted, the implementation is not stable. Heap elements can be tuples. This is useful for assigning comparison values such as task priorities alongside the main record being tracked. So H is empty list and we start pushing tuples. 5 comma write code, 7 comma release product, 1 comma write spec, 3 comma create test, and then we pop. If we pop, then we get 1 write spec as the minimum element because by default it is a min heap. Give me a moment, please. Other applications. Sorry for the pause. I'm back. Medians are a measure of central tendency for a set of numbers in distributions skewed by outliers. The median provides a more stable estimate than an average arithmetic mean. A running median is an online algorithm that updates continuously as new data arrives. A running median can be efficiently implemented by balancing two heaps, a mix heap for values at or below the midpoint and a min heap for values above the midpoint. When the two heaps have the same size, the new median is the average of the tops of the two heaps. Otherwise, the median is at the top of the larger heap. So we have running median, we have a low and high. Low will be the max heap, high will be the min heap. And for x in iterable, usually a list. So if length of low and high are equal, you call heap push max and give it low, and you push and pop x on high, and you yield low 0. And similarly, if length is not equal, then you heap push on high and heap push pop max on low, and yield low 0 plus high 0 divided by 2. And that's how you get the running median. There are some implementation notes on priority queue. A priority queue is common use for a heap, and it presents several implementation challenges. Thought stability. How do you get two tasks with equal priority to be returned in order they were originally added? Triple comparison breaks for priority tasks pairs if the priorities are equal and the tasks don't have a default comparison order. If the priority of a task changes, how do you move it to a new position in the heap? Or if a pending task needs to be deleted, how do you find it and remove it from the queue? A solution to the first two challenges is to store entries as a three-element list including the priority and entry count and the task. The entry count serves as a tiebreaker so that the two tasks with the same priority are returned in the order they were added. And since no two entry points counts are the same, the triple comparison will never attempt to directly compare two tasks. Another solution to the problem of non-comparable tasks is to create a wrapper class that ignores the task item and only compares the priority field. So for example, here we have a class, data class, where order is equal to true. Prioritize item, priority is an integer and item is any field, compare is equal to false. The remaining challenges revolve around finding a pending task and making changes to its priority or removing it entirely. Finding a task can be done with a dictionary pointing to an entry in the queue. Removing the entry or changing its priority is more difficult because it would break the heap structure invariance. So a possible solution is to mark the entry as removed and add a new entry with the revised priority. So here we have a priority queue. Entry finder is a dictionary, removed is remove task, counter is itertools.com. Then we have add task. So when you add a task, if task is in entry finder, you call remove task. When you call remove task, what it does is it looks at entry finder and pops the task. And entry -1, that is at the end of entry, you put removed. Okay. Now count is equal to next counter. Entry is assigned the value of priority, count, and task. And then at entry finder dictionary, you assign the value of entry with the task. And finally, you heap push on the PQ entry. And then we have pop task. So it removes and returns the lowest priority task where is keep error if empty. You iterate on the priority queue and you pop the element and get priority count and task. If task is not removed, then delete the entry and return the task. So now we look at the theory section. This you would already know, but we will anyway go through it. Heaps are arrays for which ak less than equal to a2 times k plus 1 and ak less than equal to a2 times k plus 2 for all k counting elements from 0. For the sake of comparison, non-existing elements are considered to be infinite. The interesting property of a heap is that A0 is always the smallest element. The string invariant above is meant to be efficient memory representation for a tournament. The numbers below are k. So what could happen is in a min heap that your root element is 0, children could be 1 and 2. The children of 1 could be 3 and 4, and of 2 are 5 and 6. Sorry. Then the children of 3 are 7 and 8, and so on. You can look at this diagram yourself. In the tree above, each cell k is topping 2 times k plus 1 and 2 times k plus 2. In a usual binary tournament, we see in sports each cell is the winner over the 2 cell it tops, and we can trace the winner down the tree to see all opponents he, she, or he had. However, in many computer applications of such tournaments, we do not need to trace the history of a winner. To be more memory efficient, when a winner is promoted, we try to replace it by something else at a lower level, and the rule becomes that a cell and the 2 cells it tops contains 3 different items, but the top cell wins over the 2 top cells. If this heap invariant is protected at all time, index 0 is clearly the overall winner. The simplest algorithmic way to remove it and find the next winner is to move some loser, let's say cell 30 in the diagram above, into the 0 position, and then percolate this new 0 down the tree, exchanging values until the invariant is reestablished. This is clearly logarithmic on the total number of items in the tree. By iterating over all items, we get an O n log n sort. A nice feature of this sort is that you can efficiently insert new items while the sort is going on, provided that the inserted atoms are not better than the last zeroth element you extracted. This is especially useful in simulation context where the tree holds all incoming events and the win condition means the smallest schedule time. When an event schedules over the events for execution, they are scheduled into the future so they can easily go into the heap. So heap is a good structure for implementing schedulers. This is what I used for my MIDI sequencer. This is most probably Guido's command. Various structures for implementing schedulers have been extensively studied, and heaps are good for this as they are reasonably speedy. The speed is almost constant, and the worst case is not much different than the average case. However, there are other representations which are more efficient overall, yet the worst cases might be terrible. Heaps are also very useful in big disk sorts. You most probably all know that a big sort implies producing runs which are pre-sorted sequences whose size is usually related to the amount of CPU memory, followed by a merging pass for these runs, which merging is often very cleverly organized. It is very important that the initial sort produces the longest runs possible. Tournaments are a good way to achieve that. If using all the memory available to hold a tournament, you replace and percolate items that happen to fit the current run. You will produce runs which are twice the size of memory for random input and much better for input fuzzily ordered. Moreover, if you produce output the zeroth item on disk and get an input which may not fit in the current tournament, because the value wins over the last output value, it cannot fit in the heap, so the size of the heap decreases. The freed memory could be cleverly reused immediately or progressively building a second heap, which grows at exactly the same rate the first heap is melting. When the first heap completely vanishes, you switch heaps and start a new run, clever and quite effective. In a word, heaps are useful memory structures to know. I use them in a few applications. I think it is good to keep a heap module around. So the footnote, which is from here, the disk balancing algorithms which are current nowadays are more annoying than clever, and this is the consequence of seeking capability of the disk on devices which cannot seek like big tape drives. The story was quite different, and one had to be very clever to ensure that each tape movement will be the most effective possible. That is, will participate at progressing the merge. Some tapes were even able to read backwards, and this was also used to avoid the rewinding time. Believe me, real good tape sorts were quite spectacular to watch from all times. Sorting has always been a great art. So with this, we come to the end of heapq module. And in the next video, we will look at the example. The example will not be quite different because number of functions are quite small. We have how many functions? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, and 7 functions in all. So with this, I will end this video here. I hope that you enjoyed this video. It is a very useful data structure which you can use from the standard library. And I will end this video here, and also let me show you my question answer website. So you can come to kundika.ashtabak.org and you can ask me Python questions over here. There is a tag for Python. Python tag is here. You can make use of Python tag to ask your questions. So the thing is that you can't write code well in YouTube comments, so you can use that website to ask me questions about Python programming, and I'll be most happy to help you. So now I'll end this video here, and we will meet again after 4 days with another video on Python. So thanks a lot for watching, and keep learning, stay curious, and most importantly, enjoy.